Hey guys, it's Dan. I want to talk to you a little bit about encouragement today. My father, in his older age, ended up being in management with the railroad system, CSX Railroad. He started off with the L&N Railroad, and he didn't have a college degree, so he worked his way up. He'd been a hard worker all his life and done a lot of manual labor, and then kind of worked his way into a management position. One of the criticisms he would often come home and tell us about was that employees were saying, management doesn't encourage us enough. They don't pat us on the back. And that irritated my father. He felt like they were getting paid. That was their encouragement. Here's your paycheck. Go feed your family. Uh, so he was a tough old guy, from the old school, raised in the 40s and 50s, and kind of considered it a weakness for a person that would need encouragement. And I think my father was highly motivated. He was self-driven. It was a wonderful thing. And I think most leaders are a little more self-motivated and driven than the average person. But here's one thing that I've learned in my time here on earth is that everyone, even leaders, need encouragement. And part of this thing we call being human is that we have relationships with one another. And I don't care how strong you are emotionally and how driven you are, you need encouragement. I heard somebody say one time, and it's one of my favorite sayings. He said, you can always tell when someone needs encouragement. And I listened closely and I thought they're going to share some nugget of truth here. What are the signs, And he went on to say, they're breathing. I love that. So if you're breathing, in other words, if you're alive, that's really the only qualification for the fact that you need encouragement. And so I think sometimes in our lives we think of our bosses. We think of, I don't know how you think about your leader or your boss, if you have a boss in your life, or you have a parent. Listen, everybody needs encouragement. So I want to encourage you today to think about the different people around you. Hey, maybe this would be an area where you could just be incredibly generous. Be lascivious in your giving of encouragement today. So see what you can do to encourage people that are your peers, people that you're leading. If you have leaders over you or managers over you, see in what ways you could encourage them today. To give courage to the people around you and to give thank you to the people around you. To thank God for them and to be a source. Find something good and point it out and be an encouragement to people. Yesterday, I had to go get some blood work before I go see my doctor next week. And so, I got there super early, but there was a big line. And, the people who are working, they did the best job they could do, and they actually moved pretty quickly. But it's just irritating to have to wait, And so I was waiting, and so this lady finally takes me back, and she's just doing the best she can do early in the morning. She seems to have a pretty good attitude. I don't even know what her name was, but so she takes my blood, and that's just not a fun thing. I don't like to get poked with the needles. But when she was done and she told me I was ready to go, I just looked at her and smiled and said, thank you, thank you. And her face lit up. And I thought, I wonder, I don't know how many people say thank you to the person who's drawing blood, the person who's just poked you in the arm. And usually that's not a good thing. You're going to see the doctor, something's wrong with you, they're testing you, but just to say thank you. And I just noticed that she smiled and her face lit up. And people need encouragement. So I've been thinking about this year in COVID-19, and those of us that are in the business of caring for human beings, whether it's teachers or managers in real estate, or whether it's a fast food manager, nurses, doctors, teachers, administrators, pastors. This has been a very difficult year for people who are in the people business. And I would imagine, based on the stats that I've seen online, that a lot of people are experiencing burnout. A lot of people are depressed. A lot of people are discouraged. This is a time to be a source of encouragement. So I challenge you today to be an encourager. May the tribe of encourager be increased. And blessings to you today as you go about the day working and taking care of people and doing the things that you have to do today. Find somebody to encourage.